Hi everybody, welcome to Bear Mountain. We're inside. We're inside because outside's an atmospheric river of rain coming through, and so we decided we were going to do a video inside. And why we're doing this video inside is we're going to attempt to answer a bunch of questions. We've been doing lots of videos lately, and we've even added a short video on Fridays, and it's going to be kind of in the vein of an update or a answering a question, but we're kind of backlogged, and we really appreciate people watching and making comments. And when somebody asks a question, they've taken the time to ask the question, and we should take the time to answer.
Yeah, we feel kind of bad because we've just kind of been wrapped up with, just
lots of things to
getting
do.
things done for the end of the season. And well, actually pretty much since summertime, we've just kind of been really busy.
And so we thought that maybe we could kind of get a few of them off the list today. And like I said, we really appreciate you commenting and asking questions, and so we feel bad.
It shows that the channel is actually alive.
And so one question that we get every so often is, do we have help? And no, it's just us. And that's why, so at times, when you're working out there and you've taken a video and you got to edit it and stuff, it's just like, that's how we get behind. But we have no help, and we are also scaling back.
Well, yeah, I mean, the pandemic kind of really changed things for us in terms of the flower side of the business. And so we've kind of been sizing things to our lower level of sales, but at the same time too, there's just, when you're running a farm, there's just lots of little things that are every day, you got to go do something, because things just keep marching on.
Yeah, and so every year that goes by,
yeah,
you kind of slow down.
No, don't slow down.
Or get injured.
No, she's not really injured.
Yes, I am. And so
now you have to tell them.
Rotator cuff problem, 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
Everything is right hand for me, and I just overuse it and do something mechanically wrong.
But it's not a surgery like
it's
thing.
just
rested.
It just needs rest every so often. So it's a little sore right now, but it's no biggie.
So ground rules on the questions are, every time we say super excited, you have to take a sip of your favorite beverage.
No.
This can be, if it's alcohol, dangerous.
All right. Okay, so these are just a few of the questions. We've tried to answer some of them online, but on the video, but we pulled some of these off, and these are just a smattering of different things that have been asked. So I'm going to try and read this because it's incredibly small print, and you're going to answer most of these, right?
Well, yes, we are going to answer them.
We are? Okay. Well, I'm still going to try and read this.
Or we're going to do the Great Karnak,
Okay, the first question comes from a garden in Greece, and this is Giannis.
Yep.
Sorry if I said it wrong. Giannis, greetings from Greece. Hi. Thanks for watching from Greece. And this is on the video we did growing annuals over daffodils. And Giannis wants to know, he or she says, hello, may I ask what the demonic grass under the tarp, I love that, demonic grass is. Is it nut sedge? Because that's what I'm finding, nut sedge, in my garden, and I'd love to know if this helps. Thank you so much for all your informative videos. Is our grass nut sedge?
No, that grass we do have nut sedge on the farm, and unfortunately we've been fighting it in one of our tunnels. But the grass that's in the daffodil areas is cooch grass or quack grass, or it's got a bunch of different names. And it's tough to knock down. Basically, what we end up doing is I mean, when you tarp it, you'll kill the green part off, but the roots still make it through. But they're in a weakened state. So what we try to do is with a mulch or something like that, after when we finish the daffodils out front this season, what we did before we planted our pumpkins is we put a hay mulch down, which kind of kept things dampened enough and the soil loose enough. So when we saw the stuff kind of sprout back up, we would just kind of go out there and just try to dig those specific roots out. And I think we have noticed over time it's getting less.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just a matter of, it's an unfortunate thing, is I think you just have to keep at it.
Is nut sedge a rhizome spreader?
Well, the one I'm thinking it's nut sedge. It's down in our tunnel. It gets started with kind of a fairly good seed, or it's almost like a size of your small fingernail. Well, maybe a little smaller than that. But then once it gets started, it does kind of put out rhizomes. And it's kind of a coarse grass, but it doesn't really look exactly like grass. And what we've noticed with that is, unfortunately, again, it's another one of those things, you see it, you just kind of got to dig it out. Otherwise, if you leave it to its own devices, it just starts going everywhere. Yeah, it's kind of like Canadian thistles, the same thing. You just got to keep at it. Tarping, unfortunately, I mean, it'll knock it back. But it's not going to really kill it off. I think that's an unfortunate answer.
Sorry, we can't help more.
It is demonic. I'll
It
give
is.
you that. Definitely.
I like that. Okay, the second question was on our first try making water-soluble calcium phosphate. And Hiba Hassan says, I understand that the dilution rate is 1 to 1,000 as a full year spray.
Right.
Can we also use it with dripping irrigation, and what would the dilution rate be?
Well, the water-soluble calcium and also calcium phosphate, they're both vinegar-based. In other words, they were the calcium and the phosphate on those two types of things were from Korean natural farming, use a vinegar as a weak acid to extract those minerals into a solution that's still got a fair amount of acidity left to it. So that's the reason why I think if you applied it to the ground, I'm not sure you get the same bang for the buck. The idea, most of the stuff in Korean natural farming, once you get in and you begin to read a lot of it outside of IMO, the indigenous microorganisms, which are kind of ground-based, or the use of making a compost tea out of those things is typically for soil. But the water-soluble calcium and calcium phosphate, and there are some other ones that they make for potassium and things, those are all kind of like the whole point. And the OHN is kind of the point of it is mostly as a foliar feed to the plant itself. So I'm not really sure. I think the thing you'd have to be careful with is you probably don't want to go too high if you tried to put it through your drip system. But I'm not really sure you would get the same bang for the buck on a plant, because I think your soil microbiology might suck it all up before the plant gets to it. So putting it on as a foliar feed might still be your best bet. But I can understand too, if you're saying, gee, I got a fertigation system, it'd be a lot easier just to put it in there and let it go. I'm not really sure how much you would put in. I would think you would want not to go much above 1 to 500.
All right, is this something that we can experiment this year with our Mozzie system? Because at some point in the spring, you're going to start using calcium.
Yeah,
phosphate.
I'm not really sure. Again,
because we'll have a new system that you'll want to use.
Yeah. That's something to think about for the future about how to do it. But I'm not really sure if it would be that effective or if it just gets sucked up, like I said, by the soil biology before the plant can ever get to it. So I would stick with the foliar if it.
Foliar feed. Okay, James Triplet. Hey, James.
James is a regular commenter too.
Yeah.
Much
this
appreciated.
is on, he asked a question on the anemone fertilizing and more. That's a pretty recent one. He asked, if we put on when the garden soil temp is low, will the microbes in JLF is
Jadam liquid fertilizer.
right, be dormant and become active in the spring warmer temps?
The distinct difference between like a liquid fertilizer, which is an anaerobic fermentation, if it's well aged, most of the biology is probably gone. In other words, there's the anaerobic bacteria and things that decompose, that put that stuff into solution, would be my understanding, is it would not be as active anyway, no matter when you applied it, because most of that is gone. And those anaerobic bacteria aren't going to really do a lot for the soil itself, because they're kind of decomposers in a sense. They kind of sorted themselves out. When you put them in that bucket, you put the water in it and you sealed it up, you cut it off from air. That created the environment for them to do their thing. And then once you're exposing that fertilizer, by mixing it in water, agitation of it, and then actually applying it to the soil, it's fairly well aerated. So I'm not really sure that biology, being mostly dead at that point, is going to do anything for you anyway. So it's more along the lines of what's the effect for the plant and the biology around the root of the plant itself being able to take advantage of those minerals and nutrients in the liquid fertilizer. The soil temperature above 50, you're going to get more microbiologic activity going on. And then some plants are more adapted to be efficient at lower temperatures too. So it's going to depend on what you put it on. So as an example, if you plant zinnias too soon, here's a great example. If you plant zinnias in May and your soil temperature is barely 50, they're going to sit there and they're going to kind of turn yellow. It's kind of like or if you did the same thing with a tomato plant, where you're still getting, those cool spring showers coming in and everything's cold, and you put that fertilizer on there, it's not going to do a whole heck of a lot for the plant, because the plant are not, they're optimum. But like a spring flower, like an anemone, it can grow fairly well at low temperatures. So, soil biology is very slow at 40 degrees, but the anemone is kind of adapted to being able to grow in those lower temperatures. So I would say it's kind of like this. It's not that the biology in the fertilizer is dormant. There isn't much biology in there. It's just at what stage is the plant's roots most active, or it's beneficial for the plant itself. So it's going to depend on the plant. It's going to depend on your soil temperature, so that the plant can, with its biology, can take advantage of it.
That helps.
Or maybe just confuses things.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say, if you're making microbe solution, JMS, that will, what's in your JMS will change with the ambient temperatures. So if you're brewing it on a cooler side and it takes longer to do, you're going to get a different set of microbes than you do, say, in August, when the solution stays at 80 degrees and goes fast in 36 hours or something like that. So you're getting a different set of microbes that are adapted. So applying the JMS on cooler temperatures, it's made cooler, will actually probably be pretty beneficial. The life will kind of be, the theory is in tune with the environment that it's in. I don't know if that makes sense. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've been listening for a long time.
Oh, and you just learn to agree.
Okay, next question. This one comes from Betsy Levy she's in the Pacific Northwest where we are, and a fellow The Pacific Northwest grower, flower grower.
Flower grower, yeah.
Yeah, and she's asked a question on a video we did last spring, well, early this spring, on time to plant springtime ranunculus. And pretty much anything that is, says that ranunculus, people are looking at it because here in this area, it's time to plant fall ranunculus.
Right.
And they're trying to make the determination, can I plant fall ranunculus or should I wait for spring one? And apparently she was looking at the spring video, and her question is, hi Tony and Denise, it looks like you have 1 inch tubing on your beds. Any particular reason you prefer it to...
You mean quarter inch.
Quarter inch. What did I say?
You said 1 inch.
Oh, quarter inch.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Quarter inch tubing. Is there a reason you prefer it to drip tape? Or is it maybe what I'm seeing isn't tubing? Also, is the she got 2 questions here. The 3/4 inch PVC that's holding the poly tubing ribs, is it just pushed into the ground or fastened to the sides of the bed? That's for the...
Okay, the first one on the irrigation. The 1/4 inch microline tubing we get from DripWorks, and the advantage of it is it's extremely durable. It's the same idea as drip tape in the case that it emits. The emitters on this are 1/2 gallon per hour. They're spaced. You can get different spacings on it. The ones we're using, I think, are spaced 8 inch on those. Yeah, and it's the same as our drip tape. It's 8 inch. And it's extremely durable. It's actually, we've been using it on those boxes for 10 years. And it doesn't clog because it's just, you know, the design of the emitter in it, I guess, creates a little bit of turbulence in it somehow internally in the thing, and a very, very low clog rate. So
unless it gets cut,
that's usually where it happens. It's somebody like me going, oops. But the downside to it is you can only do like about 25-foot run of it before it's got to be hooked back into another main line. So if you're saying, oh, I got a 100-foot bed, it's really, you'd have to have like 4 zones in it, you know, 4 spots where these things would have to hook into the main line. The boxes we were using were only like 12 feet long, so it worked out pretty good. In our tunnels, or when we go, you know, in rows, we do use drip tape, but we use Aquatrax is the vendor of it, and it's 15 mil thickness. We stay away from the thin stuff, you know, because it just doesn't last. Rodents chew through it real fast. And
looking for water.
And so we tend to get the pressure compensating type because invariably we got a little bit of slope going on. So, and 8 inch on center for the emitters. And that's what we use for, you know, any row that's over 25 feet, basically.
The cheapy ones have a tendency to snake too.
Yeah, they tend to bend more. I mean, they all kind of like
they all
move.
Do that.
They all
unless
move
we
in the
tie
heat.
them down.
Yeah, hot of the day, cool of the night. They just, you know.
But those, when we had those ones before, they were all over snaking.
Right. We compensate. Just to let you know, a little trick is if you get those small little bungee cords, you can get them at Home Depot. They're like maybe 10, 12 inches long if they're that long. And they're kind of skinny little cords, and you can use those to like just put a zip tie at the end of your run. Then you can hook that bungee cord on it and wrap it around a little stake in the ground, and that will keep your line straight. So as it expands and contracts, the bungee just stretches back and forth, which keeps that
wave out of there.
You know, that snaking around where you can come out and you go, how the heck did that thing move like that? I mean, especially in a tunnel.
It's over on another road.
In a tunnel, it can flip itself right off the bed into the pathway. You know.
Yeah, and it gets watered and your bed doesn't. So.
Oh yeah, gotta check. But anyway, that's the long and short of it.
And then the 3/4 PVC that holds the poly tubing ribs, is it just pushed into the ground or fastened to the side?
It's not fastened to the side, yeah. It's just pushed into the ground. In that case, yeah.
And mostly any kind of covering we're doing out there is mostly just for rain in the summer.
Yeah, it's either
Or
like
spring, late spring.
netting to protect from deer, or
Yeah.
it's like a plastic that we'll just put over the top to keep hail and stuff off of things.
Right. It's not our main growing area during the winter. Although we're going to do it this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's always producing something.
Yeah. Extra ridiculous. Okay. This is from, how do you think we say her name? Sheila?
Sheila, yeah.
Sheila
Molly.
O'Malley. Hi,
From
Sheila.
Ireland.
She says comments a lot, so hi, Sheila. She asked a question on the video we did on harvesting ranunculus corms. Can you dig up and dry the corms without leaving them in the ground for those extra weeks? We were just slow.
Yeah, yes, you can. If the top is
Mostly done.
gone,
Yeah.
like maybe it's still got a little yellow to it, but
It's
it's clearly not adding any photosynthetic stuff to it. Even if you pull it up and you say, oh, shoot, there's still some roots on it. But what you'll notice is the roots are probably brown and they're kind of like desiccating away. That's fine. So the key to it is the plant just going dormant, or it's like 90% dormant.
Right.
And at that point, yeah, you can pull them. But
we were just really late.
Yeah, we didn't have anything pressing to, push us to get it out any earlier in that particular spot. So
one of those jobs that just kept going.
Yeah. So as long as the soil stayed dry, we just figured, well, they'll just be dormant. So, and then once you pull them, at that stage too, give them some extra time to dry before you put them into cool storage. So that, you check them, make sure there's no mold building on them or anything like that. And especially if you wash them, some people wash them, and that's perfectly, we don't, but it's perfectly fine to do that, particularly if you, just really want to make sure they're clean.
It's just.
But you have to re-dry them out. And certainly
and
washing is
step.
washing. So we're talking about a few minutes with running water.
It's just another step.
It's another step. It doesn't, I mean, if you were selling them.
Oh yeah, that'd be
you
different. But storing them, it's just, they're finally dry. Don't wet them again and to store them.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to work for us.
Okay. Thank you, Sheila.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is, I can't read it. It's so small.
Well, you really got to get those tricky eyes going. Looks like Relicta.
Relicta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably mispronouncing it.
Yeah, I'm sure we are.
Apologies if we did.
Yes. This one was a question on the perennial snapdragons that we discovered after all summer leaving them and throwing some water on it just to see if we could get the bed ready. They came back. So, the question is, you mentioned that some of these are wanting to put out flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you pinch these out before they bud?
We thought about that, but then we started noticing more and more flower spikes, particularly on the Cool series.
Yeah. There was one Chantilly.
You had one, but
that was the first one that bloomed. Is one Chantilly yellow.
Right, and they weren't very tall. They were like, I don't know, foot maybe. If you cut them, but it wasn't like dominating the plant. There were still small growth things around it. So our thought is like, okay, we'll let these flower buds go. They're still healthy. We haven't froze yet. So let's see if we can get some blooms off of it. And then cut it back, and the flower, the plant will then kind of put its energy into vegetative probably at that point.
This is all an experiment.
Yeah,
we've never had them go with
so maybe, if we had actually took care of them in the summertime, we might have had a crop in the fall.
I'm thinking so.
Yeah.
I'm having
Did I answer the question?
Well, would you pinch them before bud? I'm having something similar happening down here in Northern California because of the drought.
Right.
That's kind of how I
So it's kind of like the same thing
watering.
we're experiencing is like,
I ended up not being able to water both my fall 20-inch and spring planted, I think that's 20-inch, planted snaps much at all. So they stayed small and didn't flower much. Now that we've had some rain, October is early for us, they are looking healthy and starting to flower, but the stems are super short. Similar.
Well, it would depend on your customer too, and who you're selling
They're
it
about
to.
the size
They could
of
be
yours, and I
beneficial.
think I would like to overwinter them, but I don't know if I should let them flower or need to cut them all the way back, fertilize with JLF. I only mean, and then it got cut off. Yeah, read more. There's more to the question.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
I didn't see that.
But
But I think the point on it is, would you just force them to not bloom? And I'm thinking, no, we're gonna let them go until we get to the shortest day. I don't know why I'm picking that. I'm just thinking, okay, that's just like a turning point, And so, and then at that point, take the ones that are the stems that are blooming out.
So you're gonna cut them.
Yeah, because
there's
other stems on the plant that are clearly not putting on any bud. They're just growing. Just growing vegetatively.
So it's like multiple stems.
Yeah. So it'd be like going through and just snipping out those ones that have flower buds on them.
And it would be also in case we needed to get a cover over it if we got a frost in.
Yeah, but at this point they're not that tall, so we could do it either way.
This is just an experiment, but we'd love to know how it
I'm not going to start fertilizing them again until we get to like the end of January, first week of February, because at that point the soil seems to warm up enough for the plant.
Wakes up.
Yeah, it's like it's warm enough for the plant, and the plant starts to vegetatively grow again. I think that's the time to just kind of go in there and start your fertilizing again. Hope that helps.
Hopefully. It's all an experiment again.
Yep.
I think we got through most of these. I know that we have more questions we couldn't get to it, and we'll be here.
I'll try to answer more. We'll try to do that online to ones we didn't get to. But I think, we should probably do this like once a month for a while.
Probably. And see how we can do with the shorts.
Right. And we'll try to hit some on the shorts too.
Yeah, so be sure and check out our shorts. There's something bad about that.
Yeah, check out our shorts. Shorts. You don't want to check out shorts of old people.
No. Shorts, hashtag shorts on YouTube
short videos.
Yes, they're only a minute long. That's the challenge, to get him to talk, in a minute.
Yeah, it doesn't work. We edit a lot.
Yeah. Stop.
And sometimes you may know that I'm talking really fast, kind of like that old FedEx guy, that's always talking real fast.
Anyway, so check out our YouTube shorts.
Yep.
That sounds better. On Fridays. That's what we're going to try and do, is on Fridays. And then we'll continue, hopefully, to show you what we're working on Wednesdays and Sundays. And we really appreciate the few people that asked us to do more of them. But
we'll just keep doing what we can.
We'll just do what we can. It takes a while for our videos to upload because we're out here in the rural area, and we're
not quite high speed internet.
Yeah, we appreciate all your comments and questions.
Thanks for watching, folks.
Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next time. Yeah. So
stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye bye.
Bye bye. I go behind the camera again.